Okay, so what I did was I drew where this was supposed to be cut, and on this is the master copy. This is foam filled. I got it leaning up against my lap to hold it up in place to show you how that's supposed to be cut, and how I did a butchered job to the one that's over here. Man, did I butcher that thing. So I want you to take plate, look at the other one. All right, and look where I cut. See in here? What's up, Crusher? I'm just explaining how badly I cut this eye out, and I can show you. Yeah, I got to clean this studio. This studio is a mess. I haven't had time to do anything, but I'm explaining the eye cut here. If you look, see how I cut that whole thing off, and I didn't realize it. I guess I couldn't see that well. Told you I was complaining about the lighting out there. Plus, I didn't have my glasses on. I need my other glasses for real close up. So, let's see if you look at that corner. Look how much of that. Look how much of this I cut off right in here. See the detail? So, going forward from now on, I think I'm going to draw the line. I darkened in the eyes here. All I did was I took a magic marker. This is the master copy, and I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, the eye cuts were accurate and, smaller. I thought, man, I better go look at that master to see what I did wrong. And boy, I cut that wrong. See how that's supposed to be cut from the inside? It's about an eighth. It's about a 16th of an inch from the very edge. You want to cut. You don't want to be right on the edge. I was wrong about that. I think with the other masks that I've done, you could go on the edge and it wouldn't hurt. But with this mask, it's because of the overhanging brow. It's that overhanging, God, that changed the way you have to cut this. Like the bottom here is tucked in way. Come on, go away. I keep getting notifications and blocking my view on the camera. But this overhangs over top of this area, like pretty significantly. And yeah, that's pretty much the reason why this mask looks like crap now, because I cut that eye way too far back. See, I cut that. Look, I cut that whole corner out right in here, the very top part, right in here. And that's not supposed to look like that. That's the way it's supposed to look. And it drops down more. I literally cut that on a slope, too much of a slope. I'm trying to, like, this whole pitch is wrong right here. There's a difference. So, like I said, I would never put that mask out. I would never sell that to somebody. Making that mistake, yeah, it's a costly mistake, but you know what? I would never put it out there because, I'm sorry, I'm a perfectionist, and I don't want nothing less than perfect going into my people's hands that follow me. Great. Yeah, see how nice those eye cuts look there? That gives you an idea with the blackened. That's why I blackened it. Doesn't matter because this is going to be me. This is strictly to make another mold from. I make a mold from this. I'll put stone over top of this whole thing. Yeah, that looks really good. I can't wait. This is going to be a nice mask. Anybody that gets this is going to be really. Now, because I'm so close to this, it's literally on my knee. It makes the face look more narrow. If I can back up and show you what I'm talking about. I think I've showed you guys this before, though. Hold on. If I back up further from it, I don't know place to put it, though. I had no place to put it down. I got an idea. Hold on. Just hang on one second. There we go. Now you see how much wider the face looks? I got to be about 6 feet away for that to show its real size. See, the closer you get, watch what happens to the face. See what happens, it narrows down, it doesn't look right. Further back you go, that's the true form of what it looks like. But this is going to be a nice mask. This is going to be really nice. I cannot wait to get this in full production. I think what I'm going to do, I have to make the master copy. See, that's a urethane copy right there of the kills that I originally did. So I'm resculpting. I'm going to retool that to the 2018 and the Crusher, man. I have the ability, no two ways about it, but every time I started sculpting and retooling, I kept seeing something else I was missing, something else. What's wrong with this? And I would not let go until I got it to where I thought, okay, I got it where I want it. And, this is my opinion, and it's only my perfect version of what I think Michael Myers should look like. That's just my opinion on it, though. Somebody else may have a different view on what Michael Myers should look like. But that's it. That's what I'm looking at. I think that's going to be a freaking home run. I hope it is. I was gonna make this mold this. I want to wait a week before I mold this again, because I can't sell this mask this size. There's no way. You'd have to be a giant to even fit in that. That is 28 inches in diameter. Yeah, it's work. Trust me, it is work. Yeah, this mask here, I measured it, really good, and it's 28 inches. And I'm like, man, that's way too big. Nobody's going to fit in that. So, you'd have to be one big dude to need a mask that big. But when I cast that, once it shrinks down, I think it's going to shrink down to about 27 inches. This master copy, once it's done. Then I'll be able to recast that at that size, or make another mold of this, shrunk down to 27. And then when you make a latex mask, it'll shrink down 2 inches, and it brings you right in at 25 inches. But I measured some of the other masks that I did from this sculpture, and that was also like... It was pretty big, so they were like 25 3/4 was the small. Yeah, it was 25 3/4 was the small mask. But anyway, do you like the positioning of the eyes? Do you like the way that looks with the eye cuts there? I think it's going to look pretty good when it's all done. I do. I'm also looking into TikTok. I want to learn how to use TikTok. Everybody swears by TikTok, and now they apparently, I think TikTok now allows you to upload 10-minute videos. How do you clean a mask? A painted mask. All right. I like to use, believe it or not, Armor All. The rubber, the stuff that you treat your vinyl and you treat the outside with Armor All and the inside with I would use cornstarch. You want to make sure it's nice and dry inside there at all times. Yeah, the Armor All also acts as like somewhat of a cleaner. You use a dry rag and kind of rub it out. Like I mean, depends on what you're trying to clean off. You know, if you yeah, Armor All can really help protect the rubber. It'll make the rubber last a long time. There's other treatments you can use for rubber too that's good for latex. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know what they are, but you can contact any of the places that I use, like Brick in the Yard or Smooth On, and ask them, do they have any kind of spray protectant for latex masks? You know, for latex, can you put something on there that's that helps keep the rubber from rotting away? But yeah, if you've got paint, I would use rubbing alcohol to clean off like any paint that's on the rubber. Um, Use rubbing alcohol. That's how you prepare a surface of your latex mask anyway. When you're like if you're overhauling a mask and you're repainting it, I would use rubbing alcohol to rub over top of the old paint job, and then from there I would do I would repaint your mask. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. Preparations and stuff. Latex is can be finicky, but yet pretty easy as long as you use the right stuff. Once you get your paint job done and you really want to protect the mask from. Plus, Armor All also helps prevent UV damage, and that's the number one thing that kills latex is UV light. UV light will kill your mask if you put that in daylight, even in the house. You're in the house and it's right by a window and direct sunlight's hitting that mask. Give it 3 months, 3 months in summer daylight, and you'll have nothing but a hard piece of, it'll feel like hard plastic. That's what happens to the latex. It really hardens. It's pretty wild. You don't have no elasticity in it at all. So who else is on here? Nobody cares to comment, so I guess I'm not sure who else is on here. There's two people. But anyway, yeah, I got the eye cuts. Yeah, it'll end up like the original. Actually, the original mask, believe it or not, in the very beginning, it wasn't maintained very well. But then once Halloween 2, or yeah, the original 81 Halloween 2, and Dick Warlock got a hold of that mask, he really took care of it. He took care of it, and it lasted, I mean, you're talking 40 years ago, more than that, 41 years ago when they shot that Halloween 2. And the mask was actually, bought and used in 1978. It might have been 77 when they bought it. Yeah, well, it was actually under, what's her name's bed. And she was a heavy smoker. Come on, what's her name? The producer. Oh my God, it's terrible. I'm I really feel lethargic today. Pain medication isn't helping. Woke up, my back was killing me today. This weather sucks. So, I took some pain medicine, and now it's making me feel loopy. So, come on, man. She lived in Haddonfield, New Jersey, right up the road from me. About 20 minutes. 20 minutes, about an hour drive from here. Why can't I think of her name? Deborah Hill. Deborah Hill. Jesus, I know it's Deborah Hill. Deborah Hill. Yeah, she kept it under her bed in a shoebox. The mask was, they shot the movie in 78. Nobody took the mask. She had the mask. She put it in a shoebox and threw it under her bed, which to me doesn't make sense because a mask will turn yellowish, but it was painted white. And what made the mask dirty was they spray painted the hair black, and they misted the hair black, all right, with spray paint. It wasn't shoe polish. It wasn't dye. They didn't have spray dye back in those days. So he took regular spray paint and he spray painted the hair. And Nick Castle used to, in 1978, he would, carry the mask by the hair. So he ended up with all this black paint on his hands. And every time he touched the bottom of the neck, pulling the mask on and off, or anywhere he touched on the face, the black paint ended up getting smudged onto the mask. And it's so weird because if you watch Halloween 2, the mask has the grime and the dirt on there, which everybody thinks it's dirt, and it's not dirt, it's paint. And it's from, just being scuffed up and having that hair touch that face. And then what else happened? Oh yeah, well the white kind of turned yellowish, and they tried to say that it was the smoking, but I'm sorry, smoke rises. If it was under the bed, the chances of smoke getting under the bed and into a shoebox with a lid on it are slim to none. So, well, yeah, that's because it's not really red. It's the actual original color that was on the Shatner mask. The William Shatner Star Trek Captain Kirk mask had blondish hair, and they spray painted that hair to darken it, and that's why it was dark for the movie Halloween 1, and then wore off between handling and because they only misted it. They didn't put a lot of paint in it. They only misted it, so it came right off on your hands, and still a little dark on the top part of that hair. It was really matted down, but the majority of that paint had already escaped that hair, and they pretty much ended up with a blonde hair on Halloween 2, 1981. Which is cool because it gives that same mask a different look. I'm okay with it. I'm glad it did because there would be no point in making a Halloween 2 mask. My brother, I'm going to have to recast this, but my brother wants me to make his version into the Halloween 1981, the Halloween 2. He wants that version out of this mask. He wants me to paint it to those specs, which is okay because my mask, I think, gives you the best of all worlds. You can get away with making that look like the Halloween 2, 1981, or the Halloween 1. And pretty much all you would have to do is, like, if you take that chin and you pull down on it this way, you instantly have that look of, it instantly gives you that look of that Nick Castle stretch. Like, if I can hold this down, I can show you. I can't get it to hold down. But if I just pinch that, it gives you that. But all that is from pulling it down. See what it does to the face? So I get why it looked the way it looked. Yeah, when Nick Castle wore it, his chin was in here and it stretched it down. And it made that whole lip area and chin area look more narrow, like this. See how it's pinched? But that would happen if your chin was pulling down on the mask. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. That's the whole point. That's exactly what, because the original mask looked like this. It was a Captain Kirk, and that was one of the things. I didn't want to make it. I didn't want to sculpt it looking like the original 78 the way it was when he wore it. I tried to make it look like the Captain Kirk. And then when somebody does have a long head or long face, they'll stretch it out and it'll look like the Halloween one. It'll actually look like the Halloween one. So you'll have a green. Yeah, that's what they said. They were green. I don't know. There's so many different people saying one they were gray, then they were green. Um, I guess the only people that really would know would be the people that were in the movie. So, because you can't tell. They used an orange filter when they shot that Halloween one for all the daylight shots. And the reason why they used an orange filter while filming that was to give it that fall look, that pumpkin, orange and fall go together. So if you look at the film, you'll see it has an orange green to it. Where he goes to the school, the part where he goes to the school. Well, when she's sitting in class, yeah, I just know that all the daylight shots. Lonnie, yeah, he grabbed Lonnie when he was coming out. Or was that, maybe that wasn't Lonnie. I forget. But, yeah, it looked green there. It did look green. But see, now I'm not really sure because when you put a orange filter on there, it could make blue look green. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I just know the colors weren't exactly the way. Um, but all right, here's a perfect example. Remember when she dropped the key off and at the Myers house, Laurie Strode, she dropped the key off at the Myers house and then walked out and started walking down the street, and you saw his shoulder in broad daylight. Now look at that picture, and the coveralls look gray. If you look at his shoulder, his coveralls look gray. And I have the 4K version of it, and it still looks gray. But the coveralls look green in the other shots. I have no idea what color it is. I mean, I thought about that many a times. So if you want your coveralls to look gray, or if you want your coveralls to look greenish, I suggest what I would do is get alcohol inks, all right, and get yourself an airbrush. And I'll show you the alcohol inks that I buy. Hold on. These inks are awesome. And you can get it. This is black here, I think. Yeah, this is black. And here's the red that I use. It looks just like blood. All right. See this? This is alcohol. It's called Calabaza orange. Is it Calabaza? I can't see that well. Orange. Calabaza orange. But it looks. Wait a minute. That's not the red. That's not the red. Here's the red. All right. This stuff looks exactly like blood when it's on. Chili pepper. And it's made by this company here. This stuff is awesome. Great blood. And it's translucent. That's why it's so important to get the translucent. See how this looked on this mask. All right. See in here? I sprayed it in real dark to see if I can get that dark effect of the blood. And it really looks good. Yeah, you can do a blood tears. That's blood. That's sprayed in such a way. That's just the spray over the black. But that's this stuff right here. And it's alcohol ink. It does not come off. When that dries, that stays on there. You know, I even did it on the neck. So it's nice. I was just goofing with this and messing with my airbrush. I didn't care about this mess mask. It was for throwaway anyway. It was actually the one that I used for repairing the lips. I repaired the lips on that mask. Great, knock them all off. I got to get more of the, I just got the blue. Let me see. And yeah, I got the blue. There's all kinds of, they got orange, they got blue. They got, where'd that other one go? It fell. Got black, I got white. Yeah, Mantilla black. That black's great. And you use the inks. Now, if you're doing a dry brush, I wouldn't use the inks. But the inks are great for, like, you know, if you're airbrushing. You know, I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it as a dry brush. I might check that out. I might have to see if it'll work. Oh, what else am I thinking? Yeah, so next week I'm gonna make another mold from that mask. That should be shrunk up enough to where I can make a good mold from it. And then maybe I'll tell you in the next couple of days, maybe I'll start retooling the sculpture here. I'll start working on that, getting that fixed up. Yeah, that's what I'll do. After the weekend, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll start working on that so I can keep the content moving and you guys can watch me fix the mess that the demolding process caused on this. I'll fix it back to where it was, and then we'll start the aging process into this mask here, the 2018. We're gonna make that. We're gonna make this look the same, only it's gonna be aged with all the cracks and all the, you know, into the 2018. And then see how like this turned out? This is aged and made to look like the 20 or the Halloween Kills master copy. But I just didn't like the way the eyes looked on these. There was something wrong with them. And it, you know, okay, some people say, yeah, well, it looks good to me. I'm just, yeah, I'm going to do all the, I'm going to do all the, I'm going to video that whole thing. I'm going to do it live. I'm going to do it live and then, you know, just work on a little bit at a time, you know, and get it right. The first thing is bring everything back to where it was. Fix everything back to where it was as far as getting the sculpture right back to its original form. And then I start the aging and cracks and the, you know, all the aging process. And I'm going to try and mimic every crack, every line, everything that's in that mask is going to be mimicked onto here, you know. Now it's a different sculpture. Which airbrush? Well, okay. You got double action, single action. I like a double action, but because I'm not really a great airbrush artist and I've just started with airbrush, I got the trigger, and I like the, some people, I'm not the perfect person to ask for with what kind of airbrush you should get, but if you're new to it, you know, and you can get used to using this, this is the airbrush that I picked up. It was $129.99, and it's a Neo effortless coverage application, scans effort, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Here, let's see what this says. Gravity fed. Gravity means that the paint is in this cylinder here, and it just falls down and blows it out that way. All right, the trigger is the more you pull back on it, the more air comes through, the more paint flows. You can adjust it from the back end on how much air you want to allow to come out of there. I bought this air compressor here. It's the Fortress. I got that at Harbor Freight, and I think I spent about $160 for that. It might have been less, but man, that thing's really good. I love that air compressor. It's quiet, real ultra quiet. See how it says it right on the bottom? Real quiet. You never hear it even in the house. My wife doesn't even hear it, and she's in the other room when it's on. So it's super quiet. But I like the trigger, but there's the other type. Let me see. No, I'm not going to take it out of the box. There's no point to that. Well, maybe there is. Let me see. I'll take it out of the box. Hold on. And I'll just show you what I'm talking about. See what it comes with? You even have a smaller gravity. You can put less paint if you're using less paint. But I'll pull this trigger just to show you what I'm talking about. All right. Now with this, if I just pull it until I feel that stoppage, it'll stop. You hear that click? Listen. I'm going back, and then all of a sudden, so you'll get nothing but air coming out of there when I do that. And then as soon as I start pulling back where it hits that stoppage, it opens up that air flow or the paint flow. So that's considered what they call a double action. Even though that it's a trigger, it's still a double action. Imagine the same thing up top where you pull back, you push down and pull back. Well, pushing down lets the air out. Pulling back makes the paint flow. All right, that's how your airbrush works. Remember, just pushing down lets the air out, and then as you pull it back, the more and more paint is released. All right, so same thing here, only it's air, and then pull it back. And I can adjust this trigger to where it's real sensitive, but I like that little bit of extra play there because I never add too much pressure anyway with my airbrush. And I just like the fact that it's a gun. It feels like more of a gun. I feel like I have more control. Now, I'm not left-handed. I'm just showing you here with my left hand. So that's a double action airbrush. And I think my needle is like 0.3. It's really fine. I like the needle real fine on it. The finer the needle, the finer the detail. All right, let me put this back inside the little case. Don't mind me as I do this. Yeah, it has a little tool with it so you can open it and clean it out and everything. Yeah, do yourself a favor, learn about airbrushes before you go and try and mess with these because I already broke one. I got to send it back to Ottawa to... Yeah, they're nice. Ottawas are nice. I like the Ottawas. It's all chrome. This is the Neo. I like the Neo trigger. It's the TRN1. See that right on the side? TRN1. That's the one you want to get. That's if you want to follow what I do. I mean, I'm not an airbrush expert, so I'm sure somebody out there is going to say, oh, no, don't get that. Well, that's fine. Listen to him because I'm not going to say that I know. I don't know. I just like the way this feels in my hand. If you like triggers, preferably better than holding that thing down at the very top part. But most people that have started airbrushes, they're used to that thing on the top. And when they switch to a trigger, it feels very uncomfortable to them. So and my guess would be, because they learned on all the old style airbrushes. But the trigger thing's working for me because I've never really airbrushed prior to doing this. Never did. And there's all kinds of exercises when you're airbrushing. If you're really going to get into airbrushing, I recommend you do the exercise. Look up airbrush exercises on YouTube, and it'll tell you exactly what you should, what you have to learn. You have to actually learn control. And by doing these exercises, it'll really sharpen your ability with your airbrush. You'll get really good. It's, but it's also practice. And I rarely use this right now. I haven't really done anything because, one, I haven't practiced with it, which I have to practice. I'm going to have to practice a lot before I start really doing anything. But the other thing is I really haven't had any masks done yet. So I have to, every time I got one done, I was like, I don't like it. I want to go back. I went back to the drawing board, and I finally finished a nice mask, that sculpture there. And so that's what I'm doing. And now it's going to be, okay, time to start learning how to airbrush, time to start really focusing on doing the things I need to learn to really refine my art. And the other thing too is I want to start the school of Stan Winston in the fall. I'm definitely doing that. Don't mind I'm putting a lid back on this thing. I'm going to put it back up on the shelf. I'll be soon using this for sure, because there's going to be projects that I want to do. Iwata, Neo, yeah. So, yeah, the TRN1 is what you're looking for, Neo. But pretty much, it's I have one of the old style ones here too. And this is the one that I broke, not knowing what I was doing. Now, see what I'm saying? The top of that, see the triggers up top here? Right there? You push down, and that lets the air out, and as you pull it back, that releases the paint. Well, this one here, I got paint all the way back up into here, and something happened down in this area, and I have to send it back to get it fixed. So, oh God, I'm going to be back on in about a half hour, guys. If you want to join me again, I have to go run to the store real quick, and I'll lose the internet as soon as I walk off this property. So I'm going to jump off of here, and I will see you guys. Steve from the UK, which airbrush do you use? It looks very smart, like the look of the trigger. About PSI setting, yeah. PSI setting, Steve, is, if you're still on, I don't go under, I never go over above 10 to 20 pounds PSI. 10 to 20. 20's high. I would say 10 to 15 pounds when you're airbrushing. Always want to keep it very low. That's exactly what destroyed my other airbrush too. I had it all the way up to like 60. Didn't know any better. I didn't know anything about airbrushes. And you'd think that I would be smart enough to look at YouTube and learn a little bit first. Now, my buddy came over. He says, "No wonder you busted this thing, you idiot, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, he was an airbrush artist. So he's like, "God, man, look at your setting." So he gave me hell. Then he taught me some things. So look at this mess. Anyway, guys, I'll be right back in about a half hour. Sound good? Please join me back. Come back here in a half hour. I'll be right back on. All right. I have to run to the store. I got to get this done. I'm going to make my stew tonight. And I'm just trying to read to see if you guys wrote any. Yeah, I'll be right back. Half hour. I promise. See you in a half hour.